Another beautiful morning here in the middle of nowhere. So, I guess we last left off, I was wiping down the extracurricular hydraulic and oil leak debris on the bottom of the beast, and I noticed that the supply line to the hydraulic system pump had some evidence of leakage, and I wiped it down, and of course I came back a week later and the hose is actually wet. So it's not leaking from the fittings, it's leaking from the hose itself. So fortunately, when I purchased the beast, in the spare parts was a new hose. So I'm going to attempt to change the hose. Picked up some new O-rings for the flanges, and I hope there's O-ring that goes in that flange, and I hope that they're the right ones. I gave the guy the part number and he's like, I don't need the part number. And he went in the back and he came back with the rings installed into the flanges. So I'm hoping that the guy knew what he was doing and I got the right O-rings and the right flange seals, because that would be an extreme disappointment. So basically, let me show you where the hose is. I don't know if you... it's going to be too dark, probably. It's going to be too dark. Yeah, too dark in there to see it. So, the hose is up in here, behind here. I might have to take that plate off, and I might have to take that plate off if I can't reach it from the bottom. So, in the book, it says if you're going to clean the metal screen that's on the bottom of the tank, you need to drain the tank. Well, I'm not going to change the screen, but that hose bolts to the screen, and I don't think the anti-siphon valves are going to work on that supply line hose. So I'm going to drain the tank. Tank takes 24 gallons. I purchased a bunch of, what the hell is that on the, hang on, there's something on the lens here. Probably some spit, right? Did I spit on the lens? Looks like, I don't know, I can't tell. It looks like there's something on the lens. Maybe it's just a reflection. Maybe not. I won't know until I guess I download the video. So I purchased some containers to capture the oil, and then I'm going to put it right back in. So those are 7-gallon containers. 4 of them, quick bath, 28 gallons. Tank holds 24. I'll be 4 gallons ahead of the game, or have extra room for 4 extra gallons, which I will not need. It's gonna get hot today, so let me suit up in my lingerie and my bump hat and get in there, and let's get this done. that was 4 cans of brake cleaner to clean both sides up, and 2 ruptured condoms. Now, this is it's a regular O-ring, and what the guy gave me, he gave me this flat ring. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got like 2 raised edges in the middle, right? So now the question is, do I reuse the old O-rings? Since the old O-rings weren't the things that were leaking, it was a hose that was leaking. Or do I try these new O-rings and then have to do the job a second time, right? As the way things are going. I'm gonna try these new O-rings and see what happens. Never fails, right? Never fails. Always something. Always something. Okay. So now this is when the job starts to go sideways, right? So these fittings are clocked at certain times, right? So basically the clock on the new hose doesn't match, right? I got that up on there, and all I would have to do is just bend that down. Well, can't bend that down. Look at the clock on that fitting. So now I have to figure out how I'm gonna adjust the clock on that fitting without tearing anything up. Always something. Always something. I had to loosen that about 1 inch to get it on. I also turned the hose. I clocked. I got maybe like a 1/16 of a turn on that upper fitting, and I was able to get that on, but that was a fight and a half. So now I just have to tighten that up. Hopefully the hose won't collapse. I don't know. It looks kind of short. That's a factory. That's a factory hose from Terex himself, herself, itself, the Terex, whatever. But I had to take off the garbage bag because the water was running out of my elbows, and the shirt was like I just climbed out of the pool. So anyways, all right, things are getting a little bit better, I think. We'll see what happens now when I tighten that up, if that hose actually does stretch the 1 inch, but we'll see what happens. All right, I got it filled up. I got the line in. I got it tight. I cleaned everything up. Oh, I got salt in my eye. Oh yeah. So I got everything cleaned up here. Everything back in the bed and bed. No breakfast. What's this? Sweatpants. Okay. Garbage. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that all open up. While I was putting that line in, I noticed these 2 heater hoses here. This one here and this one here, the clamp was hanging low, and then I noticed that it's chafing on that line right there, and it's chafed pretty bad. So I gotta go get some 5/8 heater hose, and I'm gonna replace the heater hoses, because for the cost of the heater hose, and I'm already in here, so basically it would be a no-brainer to get that done. Unfortunately, I think it's a 5.5 foot run, and then a 6.5 foot run to the back. So let's hope the O'Reilly's, who has the Gates hoses, has enough footage to cover me. And then what else? And then I guess once I get that done, it's all filled up, and then when I get back, we'll do a leak check on those. But right now there's nothing on that one. That one's dry, and there's nothing on the bottom of that. That's dry, and the hose is going wet, like this one is. It's seeping through the hose. You can tell that's seeping through the hose somewhere. So I can have that rebuilt. That's not a problem. That's easily done. I just can't imagine what the cost is. I might see if I could just buy the hose myself and unscrew everything and then screw it back together. A little fluid align and fittings 101. So let's see, what time is it actually? It is, the clock on the phone says 11:30. So I started about 5:30 this morning, getting my act together and getting up in there and changing that. So what are we, 6 hours into it? Not a bad what? Nah, that's too long. That job shouldn't have took 6 hours, although I did count cleaning up too and stopping for water. I finished. Let's see, what do I got? How much do I have left? That gallon was full, right? And I've been drinking it since this morning. And I haven't peed yet. So I'm perspiring severely. Alright, I gotta change my pants because I took off the lingerie and I squeezed in between that tire and the frame, and so I definitely have caked on grease, and I do not want to sit in the bed no breakfast with caked on grease. So I change my pants, close the doors up. Oh, the wind heard me, and get into town and get some food. I haven't eaten breakfast yet either. I'm fading away here. Alright, see you in a few. Later. Alright, got back from town. Stopped at O'Reilly's. I got the 5/8 heater hose. They didn't have the rubber plugs at O'Reilly's or AutoZone, so I bought 2 5/8 bolts to stick in the hose. Bought some rubber gloves because I used the last of my rubber gloves, and changed back into my dirty clothes. This way I'm only getting one set with pressed on grease, and I found my can of rust penetrant, and it was up in the cab, and I left it in the cab. So basically I got to take the heater core cover off to see the lines. Holy. I guess not. What the hell are you doing? Seriously? That's it. Little leverage. Alright, that went not as planned, but everything I've been doing hasn't been going as planned. I got sweat in my glasses, sweat in the crack of my butt. I got sweat everywhere. So, we killed the battery for that. And I didn't even finish putting the hoses in. It's 103 degrees in the shade. And I'm going to step out into the sun after I have a drink of water here and finish putting on those hoses. Easy peasy now, right? All I got to do is pull the old one through the clamps, slide the new one through the clamps, disconnect it from the engine block fitting, and clamp it right in place, right? Yep, that's the way it's supposed to work. Alright. I don't remember ever having problems with gloves ripping. Oh, look at that. I cut myself. Nice. Yeah, I don't remember having so many problems with gloves ripping. I don't know if they're making them cheesier. Yeah, they're 5 mil. They're 5 mil thick, but we didn't put enough of the strengthening compound in the latex to make them strong. But they're 5 mil. 5 mil, I said. 5 mil. Don't you wish you had 5 mil? Yeah, I wish I had 5 mil in the bank. All right. Oh. For those of you wondering, why would I spend $56 for 5/8 hose for a little chafing? How about put a little cream on those thighs, right? Well, here's why I replaced Can you see that? The fabrique is showing on that, and that, my friends, is not a healthy hose. Engaged.